Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee here on Wacky and Weird Wednesday. That's right, we're covering all the weird stuff that's been going on the past week or so. And there's a lot of it. Lots of animals, lots of people doing weird things, and of course, some celebrity drama. This is Before Coffee, the father and daughter news show, the comprehensive news of planet Earth, where we look at the news 10 minutes before we start the show and we decide that's what we're talking about. So it's not always perfect, it's not always great news, but we definitely tell you something's happening. Let's go into those headlines and see what we're talking about today. Today on Before Coffee. Prost! Munich gets its first booze-free beer garden as alcohol consumption drops.
A man rowing solo across the Atlantic is surrounded by whales, and we have an update on Charlotte, the so-called pregnant stingray.
Man arrested with 104 snakes in his pants, and Ontario's rat storm. City seeks ways to fight increasingly visible rats.
And a mysterious plane found abandoned on the side of the road in Florida. And a man unicycles the length of Ireland.
Jack Black puts Tenacious D tour on hold and cancels tour after bandmates Trump shooting comment.
And it's World Emoji Day, so put on a happy face for July 17th, 2024 on Before Coffee.
Alright, let's get into the weird news, like opening a beer garden where you don't serve booze. Is it still supposed to be called a beer garden then? I'm not sure. But that's what they're doing in Munich. This is on Euronews Business by Eleanor Butler. Alcohol is slipping in popularity in Germany, and new businesses are seeking to cash in. Soon pigs are going to be flying. The southern German city of Munich will see its first alcohol-free beer garden open on Thursday, which will be the 18th of July, according to local officials. The business, named Die Null, or Zero in English, is located by Munich Central Station and the old botanical garden on Karl Stutzel Platz. Partially responding to the slow demand for alcohol in Germany, Die Null will only serve non-alcoholic drinks. Cultural events will also take center stage at the venue, which will host bands, choirs, and solo artists and dancers. I'm sure they'll have a better time without all the drunks there. The project, explained Munich's council, is intended to revitalize an area that has fallen prey to crime and drug abuse. Officials are hoping that Die Null will attract different kinds of people to the area, and allow the neighborhood to become a thriving community hub. To this end, numerous local business leaders have come together to support the project. I think another way you can attract different people is to maybe find out why people are committing crime and doing drugs. Maybe it's a societal issue, and pushing them further under the rug isn't actually going to solve any of that. They're just going to, you guys go over there, that corner. That way they wouldn't have to think about you anymore. Mayor Dieter Rieter, that's hilarious. The mayor of Munich set up a task force earlier this year to reduce antisocial and illegal behavior in the old botanical garden. According to the city's official website, vegetation has already been cut back to improve visibility, and lighting has been improved. Benches and table tennis tables have been dismantled, particularly because they were being used for drug trading or as places to sleep. No! People were sleeping on those benches in the middle of the night? How about you figure out why people are being homeless instead of dismantling benches so old people can't sit down when they're walking through the botanical garden. Sorry, anti-homelessness pisses me off. The move to serve soft drinks is also significant given Germany's changing relationship with alcohol. According to official figures, beer sales in the country dropped to 4.2% in 2023. This comes after a slight rise seen from the previous year, the results of the ending of the COVID lockdowns, although the most recent figures confirm a longer trend. Last year's sales were 11.3% lower in 2013 and 25.3% lower than in 1993. Move away from alcohol can also be seen at a wider European level, and boy, am I happy about that. I think alcohol is like the worst legal drug out there, other than opiates, of course, because those are technically legal. I think it's probably number 3, because alcohol doesn't affect anyone else. To be fair, alcohol only affects you and your liver, and maybe you're an asshole and you abuse people. But cigarettes is definitely my number 2, because that affects people who aren't given their, they don't give you permission to pollute their air. It's both my neighbors used to smoke into my room. I can't leave my window open because I just get a full room full of smoke. So yeah, smoke is of the worst, and opiates, legal opiates like Oxycontin and whatever, ibuprofen, all those. Those are the worst. That's the worst legal drug, but
those are called
alcohol is
opioids,
definitely my top 3 worst illegal
mic's
drug.
Not on, I guess.
Data from the World Health Organization shows that while Europe has the highest alcohol per capita consumption compared to other regions, those numbers are falling consistently. Since 2010, the total has fallen to 9.8%. Those choosing to cut back on drinking are often motivated by health reasons or the cost of alcohol. In a shorter story, very quickly, we're going to talk about snakes in the pants. That's right, I don't know why, but a man was arrested with 104 snakes in his pants. This is on NOS News. A man was arrested at the airport in the Chinese city of Shenzhen with 104 snakes in his pants. He tried to smuggle the animals into the country from Hong Kong. Customs officials found 6 plastic bags in the man's clothing during a check in which the animals were crawling around. All live specimens of all shapes, sizes, and colors. Customs wrote in a press release. There were 5 species: milk snakes, western hognose snakes, corn snakes, Texas rat snakes, and bull snakes. None of these species are venomous. All but one are not found in China. That's the real problem here, invasive species of snakes. It's not clear what the man wanted to do with the snakes. They didn't ask him. What, did they just throw him in a gulag and be like, don't smuggle snakes ever again? We don't want to know why. But it's known that China is a hub in the international illegal trade in animals. Custom writes that the man will be prosecuted, but does not say what punishment he faces. And then we never saw him again. But there's a short little story about 104 snakes in the pants. There's an image, and it's just snakes in a bag, like a straight up Ziploc bag, like a big Ziploc bag. And they're just crawling around.
There's supposed to be snakes on the plane, huh?
All twirled into each other because they're snakes.
Was he getting on a plane?
I mean, it was at the airport, right? So no, sorry.
Okay, so it was gonna be snakes on the. Is what these snakes on the plane?
Yeah, maybe he was trying to get him on. Yeah, he was trying to get him on a plane out of Hong Kong. Oh no, he's.
What are we gonna do about these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane?
That's it.
All right. Yeah. So, I guess that's your news, your story.
That's it. It's the end.
Okay. All right. I don't even know which one to start with, but we're going to start with this update of a story we reported on weeks ago and reported on again a few weeks after that. It was the stingray named Charlotte in North Carolina. This is from AP.
Stingray update.
Stingray that got pregnant without a male companion. Well, it never got pregnant. Anyway, without a male companion has died. This is Hendersonville, North Carolina. A stingray that got pregnant in a North Carolina aquarium this winter, despite not having shared a tank male with the species for many years, has died. And why are they lying in the headline and lying again in the first sentence? The stingray was never pregnant. The aquarium and shark lab at Hendersonville said on Facebook late Sunday that the stingray Charlotte died after getting a rare reproductive disease. It did not go into further detail. The aquarium, which is at the Blue Ridge Mountains, announced in February that Charlotte had gotten pregnant despite not having shared a tank with a male stingray for at least 8 years. But it said in late May that she was suffering from a rare reproductive disease and announced in early June that she hadn't given birth and was no longer pregnant. Which, I guess, can you call something a pregnancy if it was never any kind of pregnancy involved? I don't get this. The pregnancy was thought to be the result of a type of asexual reproduction called parthenogenesis, in which offspring develop from unfertilized eggs, meaning there's no genetic contribution by a male. The mostly rare phenomenon can occur in some insects, fish, amphibians, birds, and reptiles, but not in mammals. Documented examples have included California condors, Komodo dragons, and yellow-bellied water snakes. So, rest in peace, Charlotte the stingray. More animal news. I can't say animal. This is from NPR.org. Absolutely incredible. Man rowing solo across the Atlantic is surrounded by whales. Tom Waddington is his name. This is Bill Chappelle from NPR.org. Tom Waddington is on a... My screen keeps going blank. Tom Waddington is on a quest to row across the Atlantic all by himself. But on Sunday, he found plenty of company at sea when a pod of pilot whales thronged around him. They followed him for hours, growing from a few playful animals to hundreds of large creatures. At least one smacked into a small boat. The whales popped their heads above the surface and seemed to play together. A gam of whales gadding about as Waddington was rowing about some 2,000 nautical miles from Newfoundland coast to Penzance in the United Kingdom. Watched in amazement. This is so cool, Waddington said, as he took a video of the whales. With a laugh, he added, I love it, but I'm scared they're going to hit my rudder. Waddington emerged unscathed, but a little shaken by the wrists. Mammals weighing 1,000 pounds can pose to his boat and equipment on an unsupported solo trip. They were just playing and going under the boat, and I was taking videos, he said in the Facebook and Instagram, describing hundreds of whales around him. Then one of the whales slammed into the side of his light boat. And I was like, oh my God. And suddenly it turned into David Attenborough. I turned from David Attenborough into Moby Dick. And I was really scared. Waddington's team believed the playful mammals are long-finned pilot whales, which the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says are known to live in the North Atlantic and are very social, living in large schools of hundreds of animals separated into close-knit pools of 10 to 20 individuals. The whales appeared in a moment when Waddington was feeling a bit low, he said, and after a morning of full rain. What a special treat, he said on the video. I've seen loads of whales, but they just come to say hello. When it came time to take leave of his visitors, Waddington said he wasn't sure how to do that. He tried shouting a bit and splashed his oars. He veered north, but the whales followed him. For more than 2 hours, it seemed more whales kept showing up. Waddington, who works as a ski instructor, is rowing across the ocean for a fundraiser benefiting Mind, the British mental health charity led by actor Stephen Fry. Waddington estimates that more than 1,000 whales swam with him. For advice, he called his coach, Charlie Pitcher, who himself has rowed across the Atlantic. He was like, the best thing to do is be quiet and still, which is exactly the opposite of what I did earlier, he said. Eventually, the whales left the boat, and the sole occupant with a rare story about crossing the Grand Banks, the large fishery at the edge of the North American continental shelf. It was absolutely incredible. Well, that's what's going on there. Them whales are eating plankton, whatever they eat at the edge of that continental shelf. The encounter didn't harm the boat or its progress across the open water. Between favorable winds and waves and what Waddington called whale-fueled adrenaline, his boat is making good progress, he added. And you can track his voyage online, and they give you a link of, you can track a guy who's rowing from Newfoundland Island right all the way across to the very southwestern tip of England. So there's your update on the guy rowing across the ocean and having fun with whales. Back to you.
Yeah, pretty cool. Sorry to hear about the stingray, but hopefully it wasn't actually mistreatment, right? She just died of a disease.
No, and hopefully people learn something about animals from this. I don't know. There's always an upside, I guess.
I mean, sea life
I learned
is
more about
definitely more
stingrays,
sensitive
right? You don't know.
to
I didn't know
climate
anything
change
about them. So
than anything else. So, okay, let's talk about, speaking of climate change, there's a storm coming. And it's not the typical storm, but a rat storm. This is from the Canadian Press and on Global News.Canada. Ontario cities are seeking ways to fight increasingly visible rats. Efforts are underway to combat growing rat populations in two of Ontario's largest cities, as the rodents that typically lurk underground become more visible thanks to a combination of construction and climate change. Told you it was about climate change. You didn't think it was. In Toronto, the Municipality Infrastructure Committee recently adopted a motion asking City Council to direct staff to craft an action plan to reduce rats in the city. The motion, put forward by Councillor Alejandra Brava and Deputy Mayor Amber Morley, is a response to the residents' concerns about a rise in visible rats in local neighborhoods, Bravo said. Why can't rats just be like squirrels? Or, squirrels spread diseases too. So do rats. There's just this weird thing, right? Possums are gross. Raccoons are... Some people like raccoons, but a lot of people are like, ew, raccoons are gross. Rats are gross. It's like, they're just animals.
Misinformation about squirrels. Oh, squirrels are spread, what do they say? Bubonic plague. Okay, they said the same thing about possums.
Yeah.
It's lies. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know. Yeah, I understand that maybe they're overrunning, I guess, but they're just animals. Just leave them alone. They don't really hurt you. You just don't like seeing them, and that's it. Give them all baths.
They might breed a lot faster, too.
Residents' concerns about a rise in visible rats in local neighborhoods, Bravo has said. People were talking about this in 2022 as a sort of growing problem. And then last year and a half, it's been something like that's bubbling and growing, said Bravo, noting that residents of her ward have found themselves overrun by rodents. It's really critical quality of life problem when people have all of a sudden been confronted with rats coming into their home or into their businesses or into their place of work. A bunch of factors have come together to create this kind of perfect rat storm. A sharp increase in construction in the city due to transit projects and housing developments has disrupted rat habitats deep underground. Wow, see? So it was a human problem caused a human situation. These damn rats existing. Well, maybe you shouldn't have kicked them out of their house and then they wouldn't be here. Drive them to open spaces where people can see them, Bravo said. Longer stretches of warmer weather due to climate change have also enabled the rodent population to flourish by extending their mating periods, she said. Cold winters help us because they interrupt the breeding of rats, Bravo said. But with winters not being cold enough, that means that every 2 months, the rats can breed. And they will. The motion put forward by Bravo and Morley, which will go to City Council for a vote later this month, also seeks to have Council ask the City Manager to consult other communities in North America on their approach to rat reduction. Make a rat hotel and then let them all hang out over there, and then they have a place to be. In Ottawa, the city exploring the form of rat birth control that is yet legal in Canada. Oh, they're going to start, not euthanizing, they're gonna make female rats infertile or male rats infertile, and then they can have babies. They're so cute. I've had so many pet rats. So I'm not disgusted by seeing them. They just look adorable. They're just hanging out. It's like seeing a bunny. Though, to be fair, even in the Netherlands, they have a huge bunny population that they do actually have to hire people to kill. Because bunnies make holes in the dikes, and the next thing you know, your whole village is flooded because the bunnies destroyed the dike. So I'm not saying I'm against killing animals for population control, but it feels wrong when it's you caused it, right? You caused your own problem. So, but that's why they have to solve it. In Ottawa, the city is exploring a form of rat birth control that's not legal in Canada. Local council recently supported a motion brought by Councillor Lane Johnson that asks Health Canada to expedite the review of a product called Contrapest, which is already being deployed in Seattle. Contrapest works by inducing early menopause in female rats while reducing sperm production in males. Just don't get it on your hands. I think most drugs that work on rats work on humans. Johnson called it a better solution than rat poison because rats have the ability to learn which food sources are bad for them and adjust their behavior. Yeah, I think it's fair to agree rats don't know about birth rates. There's not a rat scientist in the burrow somewhere going, oh, that's weird. The last 4 females have been impregnated aren't having many children. Oh, your sperm
Then
count
had
is really
personal
low,
finance
Mr.
training.
Rat. What's going on? Yeah. But they know when food is killing them. They're like, oh shit, there's a bunch of dead rats over here. I'm not gonna eat that. But if you don't leave evidence of the crime, which would be low birth rate, then they will, rats are pretty smart. The trial of oral contraceptive was
Rats give
conducted
birth
in
to
Washington, D.C. in 2018.
7 or 8 at a
But
time.
the Department of Health said the results proved inconclusive and stopped using the product. Meanwhile, the province of Alberta says it has been a rat-free zone for about 70 years, adhering to a zero-tolerance policy that even prohibits residents from keeping rodents as pets. Wow, fuck you, Alberta. Alberta sucks. Officially, Alberta, worst province in Canada, right here. The province says it does not allow rat populations to establish themselves, and while small infestations might occasionally occur, those rats are isolated and eradicated when found. Alberta is the worst. Public vigilance, prevention of rat infestations by efforts like rat-proofing structures and removing food sources are key, the province says. Karen Wickerson, the province's rat and pest specialist, doubts whether the humane birth control strategy suggested by Ottawa would be enough to fight the problem of plaguing North American cities by itself. They have to continuously eat the birth control for population reduction to continue. So I think there's a lot kind of missing from that strategy, she says. Wickerson has been at the helm of the province's rat control problem for 4 years and says that a multi-pronged approach is necessary, but ultimately the province prescribes a strategy of elimination based on vigilant citizen reportage. The project that began in the 1950s has been so successful that many Albertans don't even know what a rat looks like anymore. Okay. Wickerson said sometimes sending pictures of tree squirrels to the official government reporting email. Oh, there's a rat! That's a squirrel. It has a huge fluffy tail. Come on, guys. They look totally different. I mean, I do realize that there is a small amount of mice and rats. Like, never seen a mouse or rat here in the Netherlands, and it's a small country. And I'm living in the country. I'm living in a village, right? I'm not living in a city anywhere. And there's not even field mice or anything, so... But that might be due to all the cats. So maybe they can just get cats. But that's the thing, right? A lot of North Americans get really angry if you let your cats outside. Because for them, letting your cats outside means risk the cat. They could get injured, they could get attacked by the cats. Or if they're not fixed, right, they could get impregnated by a tomcat somewhere, and then you have a bunch of kittens that you didn't want. So, yeah, I would argue that you need a natural predator to all of these prey species, or omnivores in this case. And that's the problem with most of our environments and our biomes, is that we've gotten rid of not only the natural predators, but we're also just, as humans, great for prey to just overpopulate. It's the same problem with deer. There's no wolves running around, so nothing's eating the deer. So we have to shoot the deer because there's too many.
There's more deer.
There's nobody eating them.
There's more. That's what they say. There's more. There's no buffalo in the United States. There's no bison. There's no competition for that grazing land. They say in the United States there's far more deer now than there was when Columbus landed in wherever he landed, right?
Yeah. And because we killed all the wolves.
There was a natural predator system, right?
Well, humans want to live in safety. They don't want to worry about their child getting mauled by a wolf or a bear, which fair enough. Nobody wants to think about that. But wolves are not...
The United States is a whole different place.
Yeah. Well, wolves are also not like predators in that way. They're not like... They don't stalk their prey. They're a pack mentality, and if there's too many humans, they stay away. So it's because a lot of North America still is in the deep, deep sticks, where you are like just alone with nature, and you can get eaten by a bear. So not a problem in Europe. Europe does have places that are in the middle of nowhere, but
America's being explored.
Sorry?
Right. I said apparently America explored. It was just crawling with beavers. There's just so many beavers, never considered nuisances, even though now we just want them all back. Because they actually provide an environment for everybody else, and we foolishly thought we could imitate them with our ridiculous dams.
Yeah.
Which don't really help the ecology at all. Like this block of water and evaporated.
Okay,
Anyway,
but with the rest of the story, I guess. If you've ever lived outside Alberta, you've never seen a rat before, and so they're often misidentified, she said. Adding that muskrats make up about 50% of the 400 to 500 yearly reports of alleged rat sightings. Along with public education and participation, Alberta has established a veritable rat exclusion zone. The Rocky Mountains to the west and the coordination with neighboring Saskatchewan to the east have fortified the rat-free borders, something that might be difficult to establish in Ontario's urban centers. For the province of Ontario, the rat is out of the gate, said Johnson, the Ottawa councillor. So we'll unfortunately have to work reactively instead of proactively, as Alberta was able to do back in 70 years ago. New York City's mayor will be hosting the Urban Rat Summit in September, so put that on your calendars, with expected participation of experts from cities like Boston, New Orleans, and Seattle. The inaugural conference aims to bring together experts in pest control, academic researchers, and politicians in order to share the best practices of rat population control in North American cities. Bravo, the Toronto councillor, said knowledge sharing and coordination across regions is key to the fight. We're part of a huge, continuous megapolis here, and collaboration is always important, she said. If there's good things being done in Peel or Ottawa or in Chicago, we want to know about that. I think we should just learn to live together with rats. You know, make our homes more rat-friendly and rat-proof, and maybe we won't be so bothered. Because what do rats really do that bother you? They chew through your cables. They make nests in your attic space. Well, just don't have one. You know?
They might breed a little fast.
Just change how everything works and rats will be fine. That's what I say. Just change the entirety of society. That's my story about rats. The big rat storm in Ontario, so...
Oh, no, not rats.
Not rats.
It's part of evolution. Look at it that way. I've been calling, notice you know this, I call squirrels tree rats, because if they weren't them bushy tails and look all cute, we'd be like, oh my god, the trees are full of rats, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway. Other word stories, I guess. A mysterious plane found abandoned at the side of a Florida road. This is from UPI. Ben Hooper, a short story. Authorities in Florida are trying to solve the mystery of a plane found abandoned on the side of a Bay County road. The Springfield Police Department said on social media that a portion of the plane, the cockpit, nose, and front propeller, was found abandoned at the side of Transmitter Road. The plane bears markings from Zoo World and Panama City Beach, including giraffe logos on its seat, but the business said it got rid of the plane about a week ago. That used to be part of an exhibit, but it was removed to bring in something that would help. Jadina Terrell, Zoo World's assistant park director, told WJHG-TV, against kids climbing that kind of thing to make it more user-friendly for people than wheelchairs and more compliant for people, so everyone could join it. Okay. Police said they learned the person who took possession of the plane took it to a scrapyard. There's some sort of material inside the instruments that causes them to glow at night. And as a result, the scrapyard cannot take them, said Russell Voiles, assistant police chief for Springfield Police Department. So they bring a portion of the plane, but they do not. So they took a portion of the plane, but they do not take the portion behind me. Police are now trying to determine how the remaining portion of the plane ended up on the side of the road. Voiles said the decision on whether to take a civil or criminal action against the responsible party will be made once the probe is completed. Sorry for the poor grammar, but that's exactly how it was written. It made no sense to me either. But, okay. And other weird news. This is also UPI, Vancouver. A man unicycles the length of Ireland in 5 days, 5 hours, and 23 minutes. I don't know if that's a record, but we'll find out. An Irish man earned his second, yes, it is a world record, earned his second Guinness World Record title by riding his unicycle the length of Ireland, 308 miles, in 5 days, 5 hours, and 23 minutes. Eamon Cavini told Guinness World Records the title for the fastest crossing of Ireland by unicycle appealed to him because it seemed like a perfect mix of daunting and ridiculous. Chiavini, who previously earned the record for the world's longest barefoot journey in 2016, followed it up by climbing 10 mountains barefoot in 10 days. Wow. 10 mountains barefoot in 10 days. Oh, wow, the blisters. Said he had never ridden a unicycle until he started training for the title. He said he traveled about 12 hours each day of his attempt. It was sometimes hard towards the end of the day to force myself up on the unicycle for those last few miles, he said. He said a swollen ankle toward the end of the trip made each turn of the pedals like torture. As long as you are moving, you are pedaling. Hence my ankle swelling up from overuse. So congratulations to this guy who set a meaningless record, and I guess riding a unicycle is one of the things, I don't know if I'd do that ever. I mean, I don't even know. How do you get off those things without killing yourself? I don't know how you do that. You got to plan ahead? No idea. I mean, for anybody that doesn't know, a unicycle, the wheel is taller than a full-grown man. So you can't just get on it. You got to I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know how you get on it. Getting off it seems hard without hurting yourself. I imagine the first 100 times, and after you lose about 7 teeth, you finally get it right. I don't know. But that's your story on unicycles, and I did send you a video. Hopefully you got it.
Okay, I did get a video.
Back to you. It's a short one, so you can play the whole thing.
Yeah, it's only 1 minute. Okay.
It's only a minute.
It's already playing. Stop.
Right.
All right, let's get into the celebrity drama here on The Guardian by Ben Beaumont Thomas. Jack Black is putting Tenacious D on hold and canceling the tour, following an onstage comment made by his bandmate Kyle Gass, which seemed to support the assassination of Donald Trump. Gass was celebrating his birthday during a concert in Sydney on Sunday, which was the 14th of July, with a cake presented to him on stage. Black told Gass to make a wish as he blew out the candles, and Gass responded to the audience laughter, "Don't miss Trump next time," a reference to the failed assassination attempt by the 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks at a Trump rally the previous day. Black continued with the concert following Gass's comment, but has now put out a statement. "I was blindsided about what was said on the show on Sunday. I would never condone hate speech or encourage political violence in any form. After much reflection, I no longer feel appropriate to continue Tenacious D tour, and all future creative plans are on hold. I'm grateful to fans for their support and understanding." Tenacious D has been due to perform 4 more dates across Australia before traveling to New Zealand. Australian Senator Ralph Babbitt had called for the band to be removed from the country, saying on Tuesday, which was 16th of July, I can't do an Australian accent, so I'll just do a British one. "I call on the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to join me in denouncing Tenacious D, Jack Black, and band member Kyle Gass. And I call on the Immigration Minister Andrew Giles to revoke their visas and deport them immediately. Anything less than a deportation is an adornment of the shooting and attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump." I wonder if they feel the same way if I say, "Yeah, I'm glad Mussolini got hung," or "Too bad Hitler shot himself in the head." I'm sure they have the exact
Just wanted
same...
to point out.
Sorry?
Just wanted to point out Donald Trump is not eligible for a passport to Australia. Just wanted to point that out. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering, right? If, I guess because he's not dead, that they can... Trump
Convicted felon Donald Trump.
Convicted felon Trump is currently alive still, so I can't speak badly about him because he might be the next president. And as a prime minister of a country, I need to make sure I keep my ties, even though he can't even... Yeah, like you said, he can't even go to Australia. Like I said, I'm just wondering if these people who are angry about the comments feel the same way about Hitler and Mussolini. How dare you talk bad about those guys?
Yep.
They were just normal guys that killed people. What's the big deal? Gass made his own statement on social media saying, "The line I improvised on Sunday night in Sydney was highly inappropriate, dangerous, and a terrible mistake. I don't condone violence in any kind, in any form, and against anyone. What happened, the shooting, was a tragedy. I'm incredibly sorry for my severe lack of judgment." Tenacious D has spliced together comedy and classic rock for over 30 years, with the creative partnership of Black and Gas dating back even longer, to the mid-1980s, when they were both performers in the Actors Gang theater troupe. They began writing music together, gave their debut performance in 1994, that's the year I was born, and became much loved by the rock bands they somewhat lampooned, earning support slots with Tool, Foo Fighters, and others. A crossover into TV was short-lived, but as Black's acting career took off, the band were signed to a major label and released their self-titled debut album in 2001, which gradually became a platinum-selling success in the US and 2 times platinum in the UK. Their second album, The Pick of Destiny, was paired with feature film Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny, and the band have released 2 further studio albums. 2012's Rise of the Phoenix was their biggest chart hit, reaching number 2 in the UK and number 4 in the US, while people in the UK really love Tenacious D. Prior to their Australian tour, Tenacious D played arenas across the UK earlier this year. The Guardian's Dave Simpson gave their Manchester Court a 4-star review, calling it a parody of a rock show that's a great rock show in itself. But unfortunately, I guess you're not going to be able to see them anywhere, because in order to avoid the political shitstorm that I'm sure they're already dealing with on their social media, they're going off the stage. But I just think it's wacky. As always, the quote-unquote cancel culture, that doesn't actually cancel anybody, by the way. I've never seen it work. I have never seen anybody get canceled from cancel culture unless it's somebody like us.
I have. I saw, let's see, Pete Seeger got canceled. He wouldn't testify against his buddies in Congress, and he couldn't get a job. He couldn't get on TV. He didn't get on TV again until I think the Smothers Brothers.
Last week we talked about Catwoman, right? She got canceled.
Yeah, people got canceled. But it's usually for being left. It's not for being right-wing. Nobody in the right gets just canceled. You can be a rapist and a killer, you know.
The point is, it's very rare for cancel culture to actually do anything, especially if you're famous enough. I think Jack Black is so famous that, he's like I said earlier before we started, Jack Black is famous for supporting Autism Speaks, which is not an autism support group. It's actually against autism and wants to cure people and euthanize people who have autism. He wants to fix people.
He does.
He doesn't want to accept people who have autism as
wants to blame vaccines for it.
Yeah, exactly.
If we just get rid of vaccines, we'll cure autism.
Famously supports them. He shows up, does speeches and stuff on stage for them, and says, "Yeah, Autism Speaks, woo!" And there's no way he doesn't know what they actually stand for, because I don't have autism, and I know what they stand for. It's not just people who know, autistic people who know. Everyone knows Autism Speaks is not a pro group, so I don't really want to hear Jack Black trying to stand on the higher horse.
Probably cause.
I'm totally fine with. I think it's a funny joke. Because obviously you can't actually wish on a birthday cake. That doesn't actually, it's not real magic. Magic is not real, people. Just because you wished it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I've already been saying since Monday, what a shame. That's all. I have my comment for that.
My position, and it's a pretty consistent position to have, is that all shootings are bad.
Yeah.
It's real simple.
Don't shoot people unless you're in the military.
Very consistent
system.
It's very consistent. It's in line with the 10 Commandments, Jesus, most religions. I imagine I have a really easy position to maintain. All shootings are bad.
Don't shoot people. That's not a solution.
And why isn't autism? Autism is probably caused by the nuclear age, which is causing all of our health problems.
Yeah.
So radiation could be causing it.
Yep.
Hey, lady.
But that's the story.
I guess we're going to this
day in history.
And again, why do we care if we offend Trump? The Trump is the one who made fun of Nancy Pelosi's husband after a guy tried to beat him to death with a hammer. He's on stage making fun of an 80-year-old man getting pummeled with a hammer. Trump thought that was funny.
And he made fun of...
so we're going to be offended by something somebody said.
War vets, right? He called... What was his name? I can't remember. The vice president under... I can't remember his name.
I will say
but he called him a loser because he was he got captured as a prisoner of war. Yeah, got captured as a prisoner of war, and then they called.
Oh no, you're talking about John McCain.
Yeah, John McCain. He called him a loser, somebody who was elected. Well, not elected, but.
I don't really get offended by anything. Anything anybody says about Trump, he brought on himself.
Yep.
Right. And if it's politically correct, tough shit. He doesn't care if it's politically correct. If you
Yeah,
say anything about Trump, I'm like,
It's
yeah,
so
you guys are coming.
tiring being on taking the high road all the time against some a demagogue who doesn't even know where the high road is. He's in the ditches. He's not even on the road.
We won't even get into this so-called assassination attempt, because it's totally not adding up as to why did some kid with an AK-47 get totally undetected? Was he planted there? I mean, the Secret Service is not in charge of security for a presidential candidate until he's a nominee. He only has personal protection because he's the next president.
Though, and isn't having Secret Service a lifetime job after you become president?
Secret Service agents, not advanced parties, to set up security where you're traveling. That's the campaign's job. The campaign is supposed to go, hey, we're having a rally in your town. Can you provide extra police? And they go, yeah. Can we have some money for extra police? And they go, yeah, we'll give you some money for extra police. And then they never pay them. They also don't rent indoor facilities because they never pay. They don't pay. They have unpaid bills all over the country. There's municipalities suing this campaign from 2016, 2020 for never getting paid for the extra police overtime they had to provide. The campaign is supposed to do that. So why didn't the police provide security? Viewers, they were told not to. Why? Because let's shoot her in. We got an assassination attempt to stage. And unfortunately, the stupid kid, he hit the teleprompter deflector bullet shit that's up there, right? There's always that bulletproof shit that's there.
Yeah.
If they have it. But whatever. He hit somebody else. And I don't know. I don't know the actual thing, but it's just so suspicious. It's so suspicious. You got videos of people pointing to the guy in the roof. Like, people. Just ordinary citizens. But hey, the guy in the roof pointing their phone. Like, yeah, okay. So you can't blame the Secret Service. It wasn't their job for security at all. They were calling on the police to do it. They only have so many agents to cover one guy who makes threats constantly. So it's a tough job, and who knows, maybe they're complicit. I worked with the Secret Service. I worked with them. I'll rank them slightly above Border Patrol as far as competence and, making sure people that they hire are not morally compromised. So, and the morally compromised scales are slightly above, at least in my experience, slightly above the Border Patrol, and they're all way down here. Like, morally compromised, like the FBI's up here, right? And the Secret Service is in here somewhere between a lot of other agencies. They're legendary for
Secret Service, I guess if you want to call it a problem, is that they're hired to protect the president, and that's it. So in a way, they're personal bodyguards, and that's what they're supposed to do. So whatever the president asks them to do is what they do. They're like royal knights,
right? And a lot of them turn. And don't forget, a lot of them agents he had in the White House detail are now his friends, like his personal security people. He promoted one guy to his staff. They get personally involved. They get professionally. They get promoted.
Yep.
They get bribed.
They're just people.
They're susceptible to just like anybody else. Especially when you're a government federal official, not really making a high salary. Just think of Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas got to be a Supreme Court justice, and he immediately turned into a cash machine. So get close to Trump, and you can do the same thing. He'll be bribing you under the table with all the money he gets under the table.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so this day in history. So no sympathy for Trump. He brings this shit on himself, and all shootings are bad. Very consistent.
That's the final message.
And that's right. All shootings are bad. In this day in history, 1453, French forces routed the English in the Battle of Castillon, the concluding battle of the 100 Years' War. And again, when did they start calling it the 100 Years' War? Was it the day after it was over? Was it right in the middle? Oh, we're in year 51. This sucks. I got drafted into the 100 Years' War.
No, that's a long time.
No shit, nobody lives that long. In the year 1683, the Turkish forces began the siege of Vienna against Habsburg Holy Roman Emperor Leopold I. In 1763, John Jacob Astor was born. John Jacob Astor, founder of a renowned family of Anglo-American capitalists, business leader and philanthropist, was born in Waldorf, Germany. Read robber baron. I'm sorry. Capitalist. I love this. And then they turn him into a philanthropist, right? You know what? Yeah. You know what a philanthropist is? A guy who's really so damn rich he can't do anything with his money but give it away. And then he forms a charity and uses it as a tax dodge.
Build gigantic buildings. That's all he can do with all his money.
Oh yeah,
buy land and build buildings.
You know, the Smithsonian Institution is some rich guy with just too much money, and he put it into a fund that continues to this day.
At least they don't charge tickets.
Yeah, and they still the free zoo. Washington D.C. got a free zoo because of the Smithsonian. Most zoos are like $40. What? They pay to park too. In 1862, in this day, Abraham Lincoln's wartime Congress passed the Second Confiscation Act, a precursor to the Emancipation Proclamation, which the Emancipation Proclamation said slaves are the spoils of war and we're going to steal them from you. 1902, American mechanical engineer Willis Carrier completed the drawings for what would become the first modern air conditioner, and Carrier is still a big air conditioner manufacturer. In 1918, the Carpathia, the ocean liner that rescued the survivors of the Titanic in 1912, was sunk by a German U-boat during World War I. Jeez, man. You gotta ruin everything. 1918, on this day, sad day, former Russia, in fact, this is a tragic day as we get farther in history. It's just going to get worse and worse, by the way. 1918, former Russian Tsar Nicholas II and his family were executed by Bolsheviks. Anastasia screamed in vain, as they said in the Rolling Stones song, Sympathy for the Devil. In 1944, German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel was seriously injured when his car was forced off the road by British fighter bombers. This is why the battles after D-Day were going on in that area. 1945, Joseph Stalin, Winston Churchill, and Harry S. Truman met at the Potsdam Conference, the last Allied Summit Conference of World War II. And Churchill and Stalin said, "Who the hell is this guy?" Harry Truman, where's Roosevelt? 1955, on this day, Disneyland opened in Anaheim, California. Happy birthday to Disneyland. An amusement park featuring attractions based on the creation of Walt Disney and the Disney Company. Yeah, I used to go there all the time back in the 80s. 1996. On what tragic news now? 1996 in this day, TWA Flight 800 crashed in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Long Island, killing all 230 people on board. A U.S. government inquiry determined that the mixture of fuel and air had ignited accidentally within a fuel tank, though others believed the jetliner was shot down by a missile. Okay, hello there, hello there, Britannica. Why do you inject somebody a thought like that into the story? Others believe the jetliner was shot down by a missile. Okay, you provide no evidence, but you go ahead and just say it. Okay, not really news, not really reporting anything. Just speculate. You know what? I'm going to speculate that it was taken down by space aliens. Okay, can you put that in the story? I don't understand. I mean, what? Why don't they put, when they talk about the moon landing, why don't they put in there, oh, some people believe this didn't happen. Okay, why don't we put that in every story? I'm going to do it through every story now. Other people believe this didn't happen. 1998, the United Nations completed the statute establishing the International Criminal Court, which began sittings 4 years later. Of course, other people believe this didn't happen. You know, absurd thing to put in the story. In 2009, American journalist Walter Cronkite, who was a longtime anchor for CBS News, the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite from 1962 to 1981, basically all of my childhood, Walter Cronkite was on the news all of my childhood, from the time I was born till the time I was 18. Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, he was the most trusted man in America, and he died at the age of 92. Although there are people that believe he never died. I would just go to at the end of every story. 2014, another tragedy. Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 crashed in separatist-held territory in Ukraine, killing all 298 people on board. Man, don't board a flight on July 17th if you can help it. A Dutch investigation later determined that the aircraft was shot down by a Russian-made surface-to-air missile, although there was people that claimed it was natural causes. I'm just going to do this. In 2020, American civil rights leader and politician John Lewis died at the age of 80. John Lewis, who helped lead the march that was halted on the bridge in Selma, at the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama in 1965. He's the guy you see getting clubbed over the head until he's unconscious. A landmark event in the history of the civil rights movement. So, John Lewis, in another tragedy, dies at the age of 80. Another tragedy, dies at the age of 80 back in 2020. In our featured event, 1936, the beginning of the Spanish Civil War. 1936, that's right, well-planned uprising by nationalist rebels against the Republican government of Spain began on this day in 36, sparking a bloody civil war. It lasted until 1939, when the nationalists, read Nazis, read fascists, and Francisco Franco assumed power.
Boo!
And they stayed out of World War II.
And what's the saying we say?
And they managed... What?
He's still dead. Right? Isn't that your joke?
That's right. We're going to do my Chevy Chase impersonation. And tonight's news, Generalissimo Francisco Franco is still dead. Yeah, there you go. Man, you remembered that joke. I love it. That was the running joke for the entire first season of Saturday Night Live. Of course, famously, when he died, the news back then, we didn't have CNN. We just had news updates. And they would break into the news and say, Generalissimo Franco was on his deathbed, and then one day he was dead, the next day he was still alive, the next day he was dead, the next day he was still alive. He kept going back and forth, and it's like, I didn't even know who the guy was, right? When I was a kid, I just know he just wouldn't stay dead.
Because they don't die. They just keep on coming back like zombies, dude.
That's right. Featured biography is Adam Smith. Adam Smith, the Scottish philosopher, basically invented modern economics. Died July 17th, 1790 in Edinburgh, Scotland. As we all know, the Scottish invented the modern world. You can look it up. Thanks Scotland for everything you got. Speaking of Scottish people, Canadian actor Donald Sutherland's birthday. He died a couple weeks ago. It's his birthday today. He was born in 1935. Of course, Sutherland is a very Scottish name. And Canada was settled in a large part by Scottish expatriates. That's basically their population at the start, right? We want to populate that country and depopulate this other country. 1947 is the birthday of Camilla, Queen of the United Kingdom. Did you know she was queen? I thought she was the queen consort or king consort or whatever. She's the actual queen? Was there a ceremony?
No, I had no idea.
Anyway, it's her birthday. She was born in 1947. It's also the birthday of Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany. She's still Chancellor of Germany? I thought they had another person do that now. But anyway, it's still her birthday, and she was born in 1954. It's also the birthday of Wong Kar-wai, Chinese director, born in 1958. Australian mathematician Terence Tao, born in 1975. There's your birthdays, and what day it is today? It is National Peach Ice Cream Day. Yum. Just any ice cream on a day like today. Any ice cream. Just pour it on my head. It's National Wrong Way Kerrigan Day. If you don't know who Wrong Way Kerrigan was, well, he's a guy that took off from, I think it was Ireland, to get to the United States and landed in Ireland. Yeah. Oh, no, he was, okay, here we go. There you go. Growing up, that's not exactly what happened. He gained notoriety for an unplanned transatlantic flight to Ireland on June 17, 1938. What did he do? With only a magnetic compass, Corrigan advised officials returned to California. According to the story, after takeoff, cloud cover prevented Corrigan from accurate navigation. When Corrigan dropped below the clouds, hours later, he saw nothing but water. Then Corrigan realized his navigation was off. Despite the confusion, he continued on his journey. Surprisingly, 28 hours later, he landed in Ireland. So he left in Galveston, Texas, and landed in Ireland on his way to California. So wrong way, Corrigan. There's his story. I thought he took off from Ireland and landed in Ireland. Okay. That might have been somebody else I'm thinking of. So wrong way, Corrigan achieves fame the wrong way on this day. I guess it was on this day in 1938. So it's National Wrong Way Corrigan Day, National Yellow Pig Day. Another thing I gotta look up, because I don't know if I've ever seen a yellow pig. Okay, National Yellow Pig Day on July 17th honors the unique attributes of the number 17 and its significance to mathematics. Still don't know what it means. The number 17 is a prime number in the arena of prime is a premium number in the arena of prime numbers, and the first four prime numbers together in 14. Add the first four prime numbers together in 17 as their sum. The average school bus weighs 17 tons with passengers inside. Each of the following words has 17 letters: interdisciplinary, telecommunication, misinterpretation, commercialization, and teleprompter. The atomic number of chlorine is 17. Pebble Beach has a specific known as the 17-mile drive. The 17th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution gave the United States the right to elect their senators by popular vote. What does this have to do with the yellow pig? I still don't understand. So we're just gonna. I still no idea what they're talking about. World Emoji Day is today. I know what an emoji is. I don't have to look that up. It's National Hot Dog Day, National Lottery Day, and National Tattoo Day. So if you win the lottery, get yourself a tattoo. If you don't win the lottery, you probably want to spend that on something else. Especially, well, if you got disposable income to get a tattoo, you probably don't care. You know, I got more than a tattoo, and my family can't eat, but I got a tattoo. I don't know. But anyway, hot dogs are cheap, so it's National Hot Dog Day. Or it used to be cheap. You price hot dogs lately, it's like, oh wow, more than filet mignon. It makes a lot of sense.
No!
Those are all your days for today, July 17th, 2024, on Before Peach Ice Cream.
This has been Allison here from the Netherlands. Peach isn't my favorite flavor, but I'll still eat it, especially if it's ice cream. And we will see you tomorrow for our Thursday 13. I don't know what's going to be. That's the surprise, so you better show up tomorrow to find out. The weather is good here. I hope the weather's good for you and you're not being flooded, because I heard there was a huge flood in Canada. So stay safe out there. As always, wear sunscreen, keep cool, and we'll see you tomorrow. Here is, don't forget to subscribe, turn on those notifications so you know when we go live, watch all our videos, and let's look at our mic drop moment.
Let us not forget that we are involved in a serious social revolution, where it is a political party that will make it unnecessary to march on Washington.
Okay, so John Lewis, born in 1940. He would have been 23 here.
That's crazy.
23.
Because he doesn't look that young, but he is.
Through the streets of Jackson, through the streets of Danville, through the streets of Cambridge, through the streets of Birmingham. But we will march with the spirit of love and with the spirit of dignity that we have shown here today.
Yeah.
We must say, wake up, America, wake up, for we cannot stop, and we will not and cannot be patient.
Ooh.
John Lewis.
That's
still going.
Yeah, that's his documentary.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, history of gravy, and scratchy old records.